Good morning and welcome to our seminar this morning, where we're going to speak a little bit about an opportunity that's coming up for people to hopefully take advantage of in 2018. And we are calling this Aftermath LLC. This will be an investment opportunity for those who can see the opportunity that exists today uh, in the Florida Keys. More specifically, we're going to be focused on the aftermath that happened after the hurricane damage that basically devastated the lower Florida Keys. This is a picture, and in this demonstration, I'm going to speak to you and use examples from properties that are currently owned and properties that were affected greatly by the hurricane. We were located at Ground Zero, which was basically the Cudjoe Key, Little Torch, and Big Pine area. This is a photograph of the aftermath of a beautiful 1.5-acre property known as the Lost Pelican. It is located on Little Torch Key, and the good news about this property is that it's not being placed on the market as a distressed sale or being placed on the market at all. And actually, that's where we will be focusing. We're going to focus on the properties, and believe me, there will be a ton of them coming available because people were affected, had no insurance, and basically they have no ability to remain in the Florida Keys, making their only possible plan to exit. And in doing so, this creates a great opportunity for investors who are seeking damaged properties and who have the money and the ability to repair or replace the damaged property until the market rebounds, which it will in the Florida Keys. So this is our property located on Little Torch Key, known as the Lost Pelican. And before the devastation of the hurricane, you can see that the landscape was beautiful. It was actually 1.5 acres. And what you're seeing here is the home that we built. This was a manufactured home in a factory in North Carolina. And we brought it to the Little Torch Key, the Lost Pelican, and built the new home. You will note, out of all the devastation, there was not one single board damaged in our new home. And this is what prompted me to start thinking about the opportunities that exist in the Keys today. Most of the damage, if not all of the damage, were done to homes built prior to Andrew, Hurricane Andrew, that everybody remembers, or mobile homes that had really no quality standards to withstand a serious hurricane, which actually wiped out a good portion of the Keys. So our plan is to move forward into 2018 and identify properties that have been abandoned or are close to being abandoned by owners who were devastated, left with no insurance and no ability to rebuild. Our business model will be to acquire those properties. Most likely it'll be on the pennies on the dollar type of an acquisition, leading to a future that could be very good for those who take advantage of this opportunity. The investment opportunity will be focused in the lower Keys, and a lot of it may, or the lower end of our investment groups, may take advantage of properties that could be available at Cudjoe Key, more particular the Venture Out Resort, where we actually own three or four properties, and we were affected by the hurricane. We're going to talk about one of my properties here, which you can see. This is a picture of the property after the hurricane. Basically, that hurricane, and this was a relatively new structure. It was hurricane resistant, I won't say hurricane proof. And back when I was shopping for properties to acquire in the Florida Keys, the listing price at the peak market for this property was in the area of $525,000. I believe I purchased it in a down market for about $350,000 from the original owner who built this structure. And basically, this was nothing more than a double wide mobile home up on stilts. And today, I can tell you that the insurance settlement for all of the damage, it was considered a total loss, was only $48,000. Now, mind you, I did have insurance, and the $48,000 will come in handy to rebuild. But sadly, many of my neighbors and many of the people in the Lower Keys had no insurance at all. So whatever they purchased their property for, whether it be $350,000, $150,000, or $50,000, these people were virtually left with nothing, and possibly their only exit strategy is to leave and sell whatever they can prior to their exit for the Keys. Now, this is what that property looked like prior to the hurricane. And you can see it's been rented solid for almost 4 years with no vacancy. So there's a good rental income there. Also, being in the park that it's in, there's a good weekly rental opportunity because the park is very popular and has been since the late 1960s with tourists, people that come down, whether in an RV or a motorhome, or they rent homes like this. And there were several of this quality of home at the Venture Out Resort. However, today, many of them have been destroyed. And this is where the opportunity exists for our investment group moving into the year 2018. You can see from this what this beautiful home looked like after the hurricane. It's not a pretty picture. And again, the math here is what's the motivator for me to create our investment group, knowing that this house once sold for over $500,000, and after the aftermath of the hurricane, the insurance company was willing to pay $48,000. This is a huge loss for anybody to suffer, and something that many people can't sustain or even afford to suffer such a loss. And again, this is why I believe there's an opportunity. Now, what I chose to do with the insurance money and to also invest additional funds, I chose to rebuild rather than to demolish. And what I did was I have a contractor who's going to be part of our group who is an excellent contractor. He's worked for my company or one of my companies on and off for years, and he does all the major work at our hotels in South Florida. He does all the renovation work, and I've gotten to know him and trust him over the years. So what I did was I contracted him to go to the Keys and rebuild my 2 properties at Venture Out Resort. And what we chose to do, rather than to use the flimsy mobile home siding and what was there with the original structures, we built it back. We built it stronger. We used stronger new siding for the homes. We used stronger new roofing materials. And basically, we took it from, even though it's classified a mobile home, we made it more from the mobile home type of construction to a stronger and better manufactured home. And that is basically going to be our business model moving forward with our investment group. We are going to acquire property. We will rebuild when we can or replace when necessary. And rebuilding, we're going to be using much better material. So what is our wealth building opportunity? What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about, first, we're going to identify and acquire property basically for pennies on the dollar. And once we acquire that property, we are going to rebuild or replace the damaged property. Mind you, we're not looking for a good real estate deal. We're not looking to buy a $500,000 home for $300,000. We are looking for distressed property. We're going to buy it, and we're going to rebuild it or we're going to replace it. When we rebuild it, we have our group's contractor ready to roll, and our estimated savings on those repair costs will be between 40 and 50% of what the general public pays. And the same will hold true if we replace it. If we have to replace a structure, we're not going to use the mobile home, or we're going to try to avoid it wherever possible, and we're going to move towards the manufactured type of a home. And we're currently working with a company in the Carolinas who actually, our model was the Lost Pelican property, which has a beautiful, virtually hurricane resistive home that sustained no damage in the last Category 5 hit. So this is, again, what we're focused on, and this is where we're going with our investment group. So our opportunity here is we're going to rebuild when we can with quality materials that are more durable and storm resistant. We're going to replace with a manufactured home type of a structure that will be built in a factory in the Carolinas and sent to us and assembled on site. Our cost comparison for our business model is that we could expect, and we hope we can get as much as a 70%, it's not really a return, but 70% on our investment. It'll go up almost double. Worst case, it'll be 50%. So the ROI, return on the investment, will be 50%, could be our best estimate, and our worst is 25%. And by any standard, that's a lot better than most investments, whether you're in the stock market or buying CDs or whatever the case may be. This opportunity is truly wealth building. Now, we're going to structure our investment opportunity, our wealth building opportunity, into 4 categories. And the minimum investment that'll be required is $12,000. So Group 1 through Group 5, you can see here, the entry level is $12,000, and you can invest up to, but not including, $20,000. And then in our Group 5, as you can see, the investment is $100,000 or more. Now we're doing this because a lot of my friends, and I'm doing this, I'm approaching 70 years old. I see this as my last hurrah, or I see this as my last challenge or something fun to do in semi-retirement. And I want to share this opportunity with my friends that don't have the $100,000 or the $50,000 to invest. But rather than buy a new car, you can easily invest in our Group 1, and it's the old guns and butter. You will be able to see your $12,000 grow and appreciate rather than depreciate if you bought a car or a boat or some other fun toy. So I truly believe we have a wealth building opportunity. It's in the works. It's going to take effect in 2018 in January. So let's take a look at, let me give you a little bit of an idea of how the different groups work. In Group 1, as I said, this is the minimum investment of $12,000. Now, what we're going to do in Group 1, we're going to look to acquire mobile RV lots. Our target price will be less than $100,000, and we're going to have a maximum of 10 investors on per lot. And I know from my own personal experience being in the Florida Keys, there you can make a very good rental income just from RV lots. So our Group 1 people will be able to see an ROI in the form of rental income that'll be coming in. The property will appreciate over time, and when we flip the property, because this is what it's all about, an investment is that you want to get a return on it, but you want to sell it at some point in the future. So when the property market in the Keys is back up to what it used to be, we're going to flip this property. So this person who invested $12,000 may walk away with double that, and hopefully that comes true. Our second group is the $20,000 to $50,000 group, And you can see we're going to invest in lots. It's basically the same thing. We're going to have a maximum of 10 investors per lot. But in reality, we're not going to have that many. You're probably going to have one or two investors in any given lot. And again, it's the same. It's the same business model as far as the ROI. You're going to receive rental income on the investment. You're going to see property appreciation on the investment. And hopefully, sometime between the date of acquisition and 5 years, the property will be flipped at a profit level, and we will set those profit goals and time to flip on a group by group basis. So that was group 2. Now we'll look at group 3, and this is a little more heavy, but we're going to be group 3. It's the same principles, the same ROI business model, but our target range for group 3 purchases will be from $251,000 to $350,000. And what this is more like the homes that we just showed you that were devastated by the hurricane. These are the rental properties. And again, I had one property in Cudjoe Key at Venture Out that basically rented 48 out of 52 weeks a year. The rental is in the Florida Keys. It's a very, very hot destination. In the summertime, when my hotels in Miami Beach and elsewhere are slow, the Florida Keys remain busy. We have lobster season. We have a lot of events taking place in Key West. But more important, our market for the Florida Keys are the local Florida people that drive down to the Keys and either rent a place or bring their RV. So again, this is why I'm saying this is a great opportunity. And again, our group 4 is the $100,000 or more, basically the same ROI. It's a different investment level, and we're going to be targeting properties from $351,000 to $500,000. Now, we're not going to be going after anything above $500,000 because we want to focus on the maximum rental income that we could generate, and we want to focus on the maximum appreciation that we can anticipate. And we decided that the under $500,000 properties would be the ones that we're looking for. So remember, out of every disaster comes opportunity. Billionaires were made in the history of America during the Depression. So what I'm saying is that what we're going to do is capitalize on the opportunity and the aftermath of the storm created this opportunity and the business model that we're going to be following moving into 2018. Now, what are the investment benefits? What benefits? Why would you want to invest in this wealth building opportunity? Well, it's a one-time investment. You can make one investment as low as $12,000 to over $100,000. You have a choice of investment levels based upon what you can afford to buy in at. Your ROI will be better than what you can get by putting your money in the bank, because what does a bank give you? 1%. We're going to have rental income and we're going to have property appreciation working for us, as opposed to a 1 or a 1.5% interest factor that the bank's going to give you. Your investment is going to be secured by real estate. It isn't like you're giving Bernie Madoff money and telling him to go to the stock market and invest your money and hopefully you're going to get a return on your investment. This is something that's solid. You can drive by it, you can sit on it, you can walk on it. It's real estate. It's one of the oldest investments and one of the best investment vehicles considered by many people. This investment is going to generate rental income. The investment should have, and we anticipate, great real estate appreciation because we're buying at rock bottom. We're hopefully buying at pennies on a dollar, and we're going to sell for tens dollars to the dollar. This is a long-term investment strategy. This isn't something that you can expect to get in today and flip tomorrow and make a profit. If you're not prepared to hang in here for 5 years to get the maximum return, I don't think you should consider becoming part of our group. What makes us successful in the long run, because it's a two-step process where we need to generate rental income to support the property over the appreciation period and hopefully give a return better than what you could get at a bank. But SG Resorts International is a company that's been around, and its expertise is in putting what we call heads in beds in the hospitality industry. We're going to use the marketing skills and connections of SG Resorts to fill the properties that we acquire, and in doing so, making it a much better investment for everybody involved. We're also going to have a vacation network for investors, because not only are you investing in vacation properties, you can join a network as an investor, and you can take advantage of this and travel to over 5,000 resorts in over 100 countries as a member of our investment group. So at the end of the day, the opportunity is just around the corner. It's going to start in 2018, and I hope to see you as one of our investors, because you are always free to sell the investment. Once you're in with us, you can sell it to anybody you want later on, before we actually as a group liquidate it. So if you need it out for any reason, you can sell it to a relative or a friend for what you paid for it or more, whatever you think it's worth. Or perhaps the group might buy it back just to get your interest in the group shared by less people, make the group a little bit smaller and more profitable. So basically, this is an overview of what we're offering, and we hope that you will consider coming in with us and taking advantage of our wealth building opportunity for 2018.